Now, after the success of their takeover at Wrexham, the football club, Hollywood duo Ryan Reynolds and Rob McElhenney, now deciding to venture into Formula One.
I know.
Yes.
It could be very exciting, though. An investment group...
Unexpensive.
Yes, listen to this. An investment group featuring the pair has paid £171 million for a 24% stake in the team, which is valued at an eye-watering £706 million smackaroonies.
Who'd be mad enough to put that sort of money into a Formula One team? Let's speak to Eddie Jordan, who's in Monaco for us with, well, the scars, I guess. Yeah, Eddie, of those sorts of sums being put into a Formula One team. Are they crazy?
I don't believe it. First of all, I won't use the word fake news, but I mean, there's absolutely no way from an accounting point of view, just purely the financial model doesn't stack up. That's number one. I mean, it's all very nice and very sexy to put these figures on things, but they need to be supported and they need to be authorised. And I noticed that there hasn't been any reaction from Alpine or indeed from Renault, which is the major shareholder. And I find that in itself kind of strange. To value something of that level at a gross value of £700 million. I mean, it's preposterous. It's ridiculous. What does that then value people like a Ferrari or like a Mercedes or a Red Bull, for example? I mean, that is what I consider to be the value of those teams. And I regret, but Alpine, it's just not even close to that yet.
And I'm just wondering why a duo would actually, need to come in when you've got someone like Renault as your main backer and the manufacturer, effectively.
Precisely that. Look, let's be very clear. These people, the two people that you've mentioned, hugely big stars and a huge addition, particularly for the American market, which is probably where Renault is trying to look forward to. But these guys are probably getting a bit of carry. They're obviously a bit of upside. It's certainly not costing them in the same proportion or the same averaged out of the costs involved. So, yes, it's a business deal for them. Is able to say, let's put the name forward, let's barter the name and let's see what it can bring. And so they thought about Formula One. What the real figures would be nice to be able to see, but just to come out as bland as they did with this, I'm finding people like me who are a little bit sceptical of these figures, it would want to be more supported in terms of where the real value is.
Just being a little bit less sceptical for a minute, Eddie, just indulge me for a moment. Let's just assume this is all absolutely true. What could two Hollywood stars like this, with this investment, do for the sport? The same as they did for football?
Oh, absolutely. Look, Formula One is going through the roof in terms of the sport. I think it's behind football, of course, but in terms of when you actually consider that there are actually only 10 franchises, whereas in football you've got 30, 40 in each country throughout the world, so you multiply all of that out and then ask yourself, what is the value of having something like a niche market like Formula One, 10 teams, but, to make a valuation of what Alpine and more especially Renault. Why is Renault not the team that they're calling it Renault? Are they hiding behind something? Are these the team that has won one Grand Prix since they started? I have to think about the whole thing. It was just coming on as news to me, but I'm trying to work out. I did have a quick look to see, 21 million they're supposed to have made last year. Even if you apply the multiple of 10 times, well, it'd actually be completely crazy. So a multiple of 20. You don't even get close to the 700 valuation that they're putting on it. Anyway, back to the two guys. They're obviously promised a bit of upside. They're not probably putting a lot of their own money into this. And I would say that the real people behind it in the States who have taken this investment, they're using these two stars, I would say, and their name and their fame, and being able to attract the business that they've got into a more successful plant base. That's my opinion, but I'm glad to see them there.
And let's talk about Alpine quickly as well, because of course Alonso he left, and we've got Ocon and I think also Gasly. In the cockpit. So from that respect, you know, they've lost their star name as well. Look,
they've lost a lot of things, and I'm concerned. However, they do have a young kid coming up, Mick Doohan's son. Jack Doohan is the number 3 driver there. I actually have a personal preference. I think he will do really quite well. Their driver lineup is fine. Actually, There's nothing wrong with the driver lineup. So to lose, Alonso, he's quite disruptive if you look at what happened to him at McLaren and then with Alpine. So he's fine where he is in Aston Martin, but there's a really nice little vibe in the team in terms of the driver lineup in Alpine, but it does not represent anything like the value that these people are putting on it, if that's the question you're asking.
OK, Eddie, great to speak to you in Monaco. Thank you very much indeed